So I do need to ask though your names at first because I've not met you before.
Yeah, David Jones.
Ollie will tell me off if I've not filled in my paperwork. Lovely, thanks David.
Gerald Moore, M-O-O-R-E.
Lovely. Last but not least? Bev? Yep.
Minett-Smith. M-I-N-E-T-T. Smith.
Lovely, thank you. So, can I ask, just for the record, if you do want to share when you were born? Can you? That was going to give away your age.
Oh!
But can you tell me, just so I've got it on camera, your names and when you were born and when you worked for Fielding Platt and what job it was?
Okay.
Is that all right? And then I'll ask you a couple of questions. It's things like, you know, what do you think of today's event? What do you think of the project? But I'll ask you those. So if you could just start by saying what your name is.
My name is David Jones. I was born 10/5/34.
Lovely.
Right? And I started at Fieldings in 1950.
And what was your job at Fieldings?
I was a fitter, started as a fitter and then became installation engineer in the end. I travelled all over the world. As far as Australia and America, Yugoslavia, all over, yeah.
And was that all with Fieldings?
Yes, yeah, I stayed at Fieldings until I retired. So I did 50, 60 years. And we, of course, in between, we did our national service.
And how long was that? How many years was that for in the end?
Well, for national service, 2 years.
2 years.
Yes, that's compulsory in those days.
I just escaped from having to do that.
That was lucky. Okay, Gerald, do you want to say when you were born and
I was born 11th of February 1938.
what year did you start at Fielding Platt? What was your job?
1954.
As an apprentice?
Apprentice, yeah. And you have first 12 months in the apprentice school, and then you decide then whether you want to be a machinist or a fitter. So I went for the fitting shop. And I also enjoyed, with the same as David, travelling around. I didn't do much overseas work, but it was mainly in the UK. I went to Harlan and Wolf quite a few times over in Belfast. That was very interesting. And on the baling presses, I used to go down to the Steel Company of Wales, which is a big firm. They had a massive baling press down there. There used to be a bunch of us in Fieldings used to go down there every year to give it a full overhaul, check the pumps and everything. It was a massive machine, because you can imagine, you put a car in, you can imagine the offcuts that they had, when they used to provide all the sheet steel for the car industry to go up in the Midlands and places like that, for making the panels for motor cars. That was just one there.
And Bev, when did you start?
Yeah.
Are you recording this?
I am.
I started in 1943, October the 26th, actually.
A memorable day?
Yes, very. Started in the tool room.
Yeah.
My old friend out there, John Browning. And after I'd been there a while, the foreman, I can't think of his name, the drop pipe in the white overall.
Ray House.
No, before him.
Can't go back that far.
Yes. And he said, I think you might be useful to me up in my little office to do drawings and machine charts.
Yeah.
Which I did. I did that for quite a while, and around the machine shops you'll find they were using charts with my little initials down in the bottom corner.
I couldn't remember that.
Can you? Yes.
So when you've come along to these events, what do you think's been the biggest thing that you've taken away with you? Or have you learned something new or met people that you've not seen in a long time?
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things.
I think that is the biggest thing.
You meet people, you recognise the face, but you can't put a name to it.
It's interesting what that Fox me. As soon as he said, Bev, I remember the rest then.
And he then realised realised that I'd helped him out on some valve problems out in Harlan and Wolff, which I'd frankly forgotten.
So they've helped you fill all the missing memories in.
Oh yes, it's seeing all the chaps that we worked together with. We all worked for years. I was there 32 years, feeling. And I was saying just now about some of the interesting equipment that we made at Feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, we made hydraulic pumps to pump baby sham around the baby sham works. Down here in the Somerset. All sorts of things. The lift in the tower pool.
Still got a cover for a baby shower.
What do you think's your proudest memory of what was made that you're the most proudest of? Or?
Oh gosh, that's difficult. We
I think we built the stretcher, was it the stretcher for Concord? To do the wings, stretch the aluminium?
who was it for?
For Segidur.
Concord, yes. Yes.
For
Was it
Segidur.
the 10 inch, wasn't it? Wasn't it a 10 inch billet or 8 inch?
Something like that, I think. And the stretcher for stretching the plates for the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also did, was it in Almouth, where we pressed the main beam of the Brabazon aircraft.
Where's that down in Rogerstone?
Rogerstone.
That's a 9,000 tonner.
It was a 9,000 ton, 6,000 psi, wasn't it?
And the billet was about
10 inch, wasn't it?
10 inch, 12 inch.
10 inch
like
billet.
Yeah.
That's some machine.
Yes.
That 9,000 ton, that represents the ton, the load that's going against the billet, you know, to extrude the plate out.
9,000.
That was, the ram was in two pieces. So I remember going down, taking out this ram, there was a seal in the middle. Put it back, take it apart, put it back, then you seal it, and put it back together.
One moment, I'm actually in the phone. Could you phone back? And I was
And being a celebrity.
If anybody wanted a special press,
make it Saturday or Monday
came to
morning.
Fieldings.
Yeah. Well, Concord was very local as well, wasn't it?
Oh, Bristol, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Gloucester, because I think some of the undercarriage in it was
Made it doubted.
Yes.
Did you ever see Concord fly?
Bye.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Only at a distance, though. I
Yeah.
think it was. Where was I? I was on my cycle.
Where are we?
Oh, we're just talking about Concord.
Did you
See it? Take off and land control?
Yes, yes, that's another story. This is favorite. I actually did a little bit of work on Concord spares when I was at dentist.
Yeah. But they did the undercarriage there, didn't they? Did they? Or not?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Were you on the aircraft side, obviously?
Hydraulics, so I did mainly industrial stuff. I was on torpedo tubes, controls.
What was it? 10 hydraulic units. But that was on the industrial hydraulics as opposed to.
What would you say were your, if you could choose one, your happiest memory of Fieldings? Not necessarily even work, but maybe the social kind of
Fieldings.
family side.
Well, one of my happiest memories was the comradeship.
Yeah, it's just
If you were struggling and somebody always come and give you a hand, you didn't have to ask. And it was very good. Well, there was about 600, I think, worked in Fieldings in its heyday.
Yeah.
And I should say when I left there, I probably knew 500 of them by their Christian name.
And that's pretty rare nowadays, isn't it?
You wouldn't get it the same.
Can you remember when we had the girls there with the war, through the war?
No. Yeah, no.
Sure.
No. I remember Mary in the crane. And what's the one in the old 40 ton? Bev, something like that. Old, very old lady driving the crane, 40 ton crane.
I've heard heard about
I
it.
can see her.
These cranes were on rails, you know, so they just went in a straight line.
Yeah.
But there was it a 50-ton one of them or only a 40?
No, sorry, for 40 down the bottom, and about 25 up this end.
Yeah, I know on the 40-tonner, you wouldn't get it today, but on the 40-tonner, on some loads that they had to pick up, you had to get one of the electrical fellows to come and hold the overloads in, you know, so that they could pick up 50 tons, you know. You'd get shot now for good.
That crane actually picked up the railway engine. Stuff used to be pushed in through the bottom doors of the factory, and it was a very sharp curve. And they used to use a small engine and push a wagon in front of it. It's just quite steep, and it often used to push itself off the rails. And I've seen that crane. I don't know whether it was Mary. I believe it was the other lady.
Yeah.
Don't know her name. She'd lift the whole thing back on. And what do those engines weigh?
100 tons.
80, 100 ton. And what did you say the strength of the crane was?
40 ton or 40 tonner. 40
I
or.
thought it was more.
No.
Wow.
Because this area around here has changed dramatically. What we're talking about now is when Fielding's and the big new workshop, which is on the other side of the road where from the Peel Centre, where the car park is, that used to be a marshalling yard. Now the new fitting shop that was built, it had I think it had a 100-ton crane in the top and a 25-ton underneath. And we could pick up an extrusion press all in one piece.
Double rail.
Yeah. So it's all changed, the whole area. So a lot of people don't really appreciate or know it. You know.
What you used to have at Fieldings as well, because of the height of some of these big hydraulic presses and things, you hadn't got enough headroom. So the fitting shops, well, the big fitting shop had a big pit in it.
Yeah.
Which so that way you could lose part of it in the pit, and then you didn't have too much of a problem with the height. Then, you know.
It's amazing. If you think an elephant weighs a ton, doesn't it? So 100 elephants being picked up by those cranes. It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talking of elephants, we used to build mud pumps for both Buffet. Is that before your time?
I'm just coming into it.
Buffet, 10-inch rubber valves in them, and they were for pumping mud down half-empty oil wells. I'm not sure of the technicalities, but it was to seal the edges so that they could get more pressure to get the oil out. Now those pumps had hooks on the front to be towed by elephants.
And which country were they in? So I'm assuming.
Well, they would have been used all over Asia.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were a common denominator, those pumps. They were good pumps.
I think it's amazing, really, how far Fielding's work spread all around the
All
world.
over the world.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Wherever you travel, you'd see signs of Fielding.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
I suppose these oil pumps must have been like a diaphragm to it, as opposed to
No, they were rams.
Yeah, I remember.
Just a 10-inch rubber valve on the front.
Have you learned anything new since the project started, and you've heard different people's memories? Have you learned anything new about Fielding and Platt from coming along to these events or looking at the website?
No, I don't think so. I haven't got a computer. I'm not computer illiterate.
Do you think meeting up with people who worked before you?
Yeah, you always pull your thoughts, and you always learn something from someone. You know?
Yeah.
It sounds like obviously everyone was very proud to work at Fielding.
Absolutely. You know, it was, as far as I was concerned, with the apprenticeship I had, and I think I speak for the three of us, I don't think you can get a better apprenticeship anywhere in the country. You learn something every day.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Anywhere in the world. At that time.
What would you say your happiest memories of working
At
at
Fielding's?
Fielding's? Yeah.
Those comrades. We were all together, helped each other.
And when Fieldings ended, or when your work ended at Fieldings, or you moved on, did everyone still stay in touch? Or did you still have kind of lifelong friends that you met through working at Fieldings?
I left in 76, I think. And John Browning out there, my best friend, he stayed on in Fieldings.
I stayed until it closed. Of course, events like this brought us all back together.
Bring together.
But there was quite a few, a joke used to go in Fieldings because we used to get a gold watch when we'd done 50 years. But there, quite a few didn't quite make it, they get the 49 or something like that. And I don't think they said, well, they don't like giving these watches away, But there were quite a few that did get them.
They must have had a.
Yes.
They must have bought the watches in bulk. Imagine lots of gold watches were probably given out at Fielding.
But we always at Christmas, we always used to have a party, everybody they used to hire a venue and everybody used to go along for dinner, dance.
The thing that strikes me about Fieldings is there was lots of, as well as the people that you worked with and friendships that you made, there was a wicked sense of humour at Fieldings and lots of practical jokes.
Oh, yes.
What was the best practical joke that was played on you or you played on another? That's what I want to know.
Well, if you were close to the edge of a pit, they used to nail your shoes down. Put your nail to the floor, and then you couldn't move.
Oh.
That's one thing they used to do.
And another thing, talking on the same subject, we had a big order with Russia to do some patent presses, which that was up in Ollie Vander's shop, and it was all up on staging with checker plates, which were walking around. And there was always welders working around. If you had safety shoes on, which had steel toe caps and heel things, they used to tack rod into the plate, and you couldn't feel it being done, and you would have moved, and you couldn't.
Shoes are well.
How did you move?
Well, you had to unlace your shoes, and then get a chisel. But people, when it was being done, you would see everybody pointing, and you knew what was going on, but you didn't say anything because you had it done to you, so you got a bit of humor out of watching somebody else having it done.
Because we had an order for juggling presses. Remember the juggling presses? That was for Russia. Those were Russian.
That was a big order.
It was. It was indeed.
How many?
I don't know how many it was, but it was a big order.
Wasn't it over 40? Didn't you Fielding go over and get that order?
Yeah, it could be very well be.
Yeah.
I think that Russian contractor, I think it was 90 something. I can't remember.
Platinum presses. That's right. 90 presses.
Just over 90. And that was a good order.
And did you celebrate? Did everyone know when a big order came in and celebrate it?
They used to go up on the notice board sometimes if you had something big. And I mean, you didn't just build them willy-nilly. There was a time schedule against all of them, And a lot of these firms who've been caught before, when somebody opened them 3 months and it took 6, they're on the toes, in future. So they used to have what you call a penalty clause, so that if you said 6 months and it wasn't done in 6 months, for every day or every week it went over, they would get so much knocked off the bill. So it gave us some incentive to get it finished on time,
Bev, was there anything played a joke on you, or were you the practical joker? Did you do it to anyone else?
Nothing particular comes to mind.
I don't know. Really?
Really?
It was mostly the shoes. You had to watch where you were standing.
Oh, yeah.
didn't you?
Yes. Oh yes, I do remember one difficult instance. The railway carriage was in the factory. It was on night shift, and the double doors were closed behind it. And the lads were playing football, and they kicked the wedge out
Oh, yeah.
from the back of the railway, which was full of swallows. so it was quite heavy.
Yeah.
Now, I must admit that I've told the story that it went through or broke with double doors. Now, I'm waiting for someone to tell me exactly what did happen, because I've forgotten.
We'll have to ask the room and see if anyone remembers that.
There was a big hoo-ha about that.
My final question, then I'll let you go back to chatting to all your colleagues and friends.
I got to go see if my twin brother is out there.
Oh, well, we'll be able to spot him. But what do you think of the Fielding and Platt project and what's been done?
Oh, I think it's been absolutely great because you've accumulated a lot of information, drawings and photographs, all this which will be preserved. You know, I've brought a lot of my stuff in and it's been photographed and all that, but I've still got a book at home, Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
And inside there is an article on Fieldings, because Fielding Platt built the first vacuum cleaner. And then there are photographs of myself on the Platten Press, Sandano Press up near Manchester, and on another one somewhere else. So I've got that book.
Was it an industrial vacuum cleaner or not a household cleaner?
It was household. Yes. It cleaned all the carpets in the Abbey for the coronation.
Yeah.
The same as the sparking plug was first used at Fielding.
Yeah.
On the diesels. They use a sparking plug. Because before that, of course, they use blow lamp. As I mentioned here, they use a blow lamp and hot bar.
So you can see that, I mean, that's through here, but there was a lot of knowledge spread around this place, and memories that go right back, which is, obviously very good. But when we're gone, it'll go, unless you've kept the records.
I think it's, and I think I got nothing but admiration for Wild Minutes and what's the other one who's been jumping on? John Davis. The two of them, they put some spade work in.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen overnight, does it?
Because I did an interview with John and Wild Minutes in my home.
Yes.
For this.
Well, we've heard that on the computer.
Oh, you probably have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
No, I've got a disc written down. John Browning gave me a disc.
Yeah.
Well, you're all celebrities now.
I did a radio for Gloucester Radio.
That's-
I did one of those interviews.
That's how I
for
remember.
local radio. John and myself.
I remember Ollie talking about it. We listened to you on the radio,
Yeah.
so that's why the voice sounds like.
You want to just record perhaps that from memory, I think there were 60 draftsmen and senior draftsmen, of which I was one, at Fieldings. I think it was around about 60 of us. It was big place.
And so I've got to ask, are you okay if we add this recording to the archives and use bits on the website? Is that fine?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I love hearing all the stories, so it's brilliant. Thank you very much for coming into my little room.
I'm going to see my twin brothers out there.
Nobody said that.
Because he did his apprenticeship at Fieldings as well, you see.
Well, get him in. We'll have brothers on film working together on it.
Then we did our national service together.
Oh, right. I bet they kept getting confused. Which one's it?
Yeah. I'm going to see it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.